The Wintertodt is a minigame located at the top of Zaya, and it's a great way to train firemaking in terms of experience and rewards. The way the minigame works is you chop logs from a tree, and you could either cut the logs into kindling and then put the kindling into the fire, or you could put the logs directly into the fire. And you get more experience or you get more rewards depending on which way you do it. So what do you need to start the Wintertodt? Well, you need at least level 50 firemaking, and you need at least 4 pieces of warm clothing to not take as much damage from the Wintertodt. It's very easy to get 4 pieces of warm clothing even for a brand new Iron Man to get the Clue Scroll Hunter outfit. It's not a requirement, but only having 10 HP makes the Wintertodt so much easier because you only take a percentage amount of damage each tick. So at 10 HP, each damage tick only does 1 damage to you. And while at higher levels of HP, you take more damage per damage tick. So if you make a new Iron Man, I highly recommend doing the Wintertodt right away when you get 50 firemaking and still have 10 HP to make it extremely easy. Since the Wintertodt does damage over time, it's better to use food that's cost effective rather than food that heals a lot in one inventory space. If your HP level is between 10 and 40, I recommend using cakes or a chocolate cake. And if your HP is above level 40, I recommend using wines or monkfish. And even as a brand new Iron Man, it's easy to thieve about 500 cakes to stock up to get level 99 firemaking. Another thing to think about is your other skilling levels. The higher the levels you have, the more rewards you get related to those skills. For example, if you have a high fishing level, then you get rare fish more often. But for Iron Man doing the Wintertodt at 10 HP, the only skills that you can reasonably level at 10 HP are mining and fishing. So it's up to you if you want to level those before getting 99 firemaking. So your inventory setup for the minigame should be a tinderbox, a knife, an axe, a hammer, and about 3 to 6 pieces of food depending on what food you bring and what your HP level is. And the type of axe you bring doesn't matter, as long as it's steel or above, it will cut the logs at the same rate. But if you have a dragon axe, the special attack of it will raise your wood cutting level, and the higher your wood cutting level, the more experience you get. So that's the only difference with the dragon axe, you get a little bit more experience. So once you have everything to start the minigame, to get to the minigame you can either use a games necklace to teleport right in front of the Wintertodt, or you could take a boat to Zaya and walk to the northern snowy part of Zaya until you get to the Wintertodt minigame. Once you're there, switch to world 309 to do the Wintertodt in a big group. Now you can kill the Wintertodt solo or in a small group, but that takes a bit more effort than doing it in the big group. You also get less experience if you're doing it solo as opposed to doing it in a big group. You should also turn on your sound effects while doing the Wintertodt, because it lets you know when your inventory is full, when you're cutting logs, when you're burning logs into the fire, and when you take damage. The sound is very important because when you're doing any action besides chopping logs, any damage you take interrupts that action. So if you look away from the screen for a second, if you have the sound on, you could hear when you take damage, and then you could eat food and continue your action so you don't waste experience. It also makes it very AFK because you could look away from your RuneScape screen and do other things while still playing effectively. Now let's look at what exactly do you need to do in the Wintertodt. Before the game starts, stand next to the brazier and spam click it before the round starts. You'll light the fire when the game starts, and then that'll give you a lot of firemaking experience right off the bat. Then run over to the roots and start chopping until your inventory is full. And when you get the logs, you're either going to put the logs into the fire, or you're going to cut the logs into kindling. And thus comes the question, why fletch? If you fletch the logs, you'll get fletching experience and you'll get more points towards your rewards. If you burn the logs, then you get more firemaking experience, but you get less points towards the rewards. We'll talk about the rewards and the points later, but generally, you'll want to fletch for more rewards, especially if you're an Iron Man. Over time randomly, you'll get hit by the Wintertodt, and it'll take about 10% of your HP if you're wearing 4 pieces of warm clothing. And if you get hit while you're fletching or you're burning the logs, then it'll interrupt you and you have to recast the action. But there's also other attacks the Wintertodt can do. It could do an avalanche on a 3x3 area that you have to walk out of, otherwise it'll do twice as much damage as it normally does to you. But there'll be snow falling on the ground that you could see before it happens, so you could easily dodge it if you're paying attention. But the Wintertodt also attacks the Brazier and the Pyromancer. A light drizzle over the pyromancer means he'll take damage, and if he takes too much damage, then he'll go down and he can't deal any more damage to the Wintertodt. And if there's a light drizzle over the brazier, then that means the fire will go out and you have to relight it. Relighting the fire gives a lot of fire making experience, so you want to do that as often as possible. There's also another attack the Wintertodt does on the brazier when a lot of snow falls on top of it, and any players next to the brazier will take damage from it. The brazier will break from the bigger attack, and if you fix it with a hammer, then you get construction experience. After the Wintertodd's HP goes to 0, everyone that got at least 500 points gets the supply crate. 500 points will give you 2 rewards, and every 500 points after those rewards will give you an additional reward in that crate. And points in between 500 intervals will give you a chance to gain an additional reward. So if you have 750 points, you have 2 rewards guaranteed, and a 50% chance of gaining a 3rd reward. So the rewards you get from the Wintertodt are usually skilling supplies like herbs, raw fish, ore, and even coins, a lot of coins. There are even rare rewards you could get like the Tome of Fire, Burnt Pages, Pyromancer outfit, the Burma Torch, and even a Dragon Axe. So there's a lot of good rewards you could get, especially if you're an Iron Man. So let's look at fletching versus burning logs. When you fletch, you get on average about 150 points more per crate than you do with burning logs. And if you get longer rounds, then you get even more points fletching than you do with burning logs. And if you burn logs, you get about 13 to 15% more experience per hour on average. But to see how the different methods affect you, let's look at this table. I made this table showing how many Wintertodt kills you need to level up per level for both fletching and burning logs. Now this is average, and this value is highly volatile depending on how efficient your group is. But this is based off the average if you get 750 points per round if you fletch and 600 points per round if you burn logs. As you can see, it takes about 75 more Wintertodt kills to get to level 99 firemaking if you fletch rather than you burn logs. But if you fletch, you not only get 75 more Wintertodt crates, but you also get about 150 points more points than you would if you burnt the logs. So if you fletch all the way to 99, you get about 230 more rewards than you would if you burnt the logs to 99. And again, this is average. Please don't scream at me if you were able to get 99 firemaking and 200 Wintertodt kills in under 10 hours or something like that. And in total, it took me about 50 hours to get from 50 to 99 firemaking using the fletching method, but if I burnt the logs, it would probably save me about 6 hours of time. But the extra rewards you get from it are worth way more than 6 hours of work, especially if you're an Iron Man. The only reason you wouldn't fletch is if you had a normal account and you had a lot of money. If you want to see what rewards you could expect from leveling 50 to 99 firemaking, you could check out my Hardcore Iron Man progress video. I show all the rewards I got from it. But that's everything you need to know about the Wintertodt. Thank you for watching this video, and subscribe if you want to watch more videos like this one.